What's up, YouTube? Happy coming to you, Captain Awesome's Fish Room. It's going to be Captain Awesome's Throne today. Got a, pretty sore subject with a lot of people. And I want to make sure that, you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm not trying to say you're a bad hobbyist. I'm not dogging anybody or anything like that. So with that said, guys, I'm about to talk about hobbyists. Alright, now, if you can't take what I just said into consideration, that I'm not dogging you, turn the video off. I definitely want to hear y'all's comments about it, but I don't want any harsh remarks saying, oh, you're an asshole, or, blah, 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 guys. I have a lot of age groups watching this video, and just like Skip says, try to keep it clean. If you wanna argue the point with me, that's fine. That's fine. Just do it cleanly. And again, understand that I'm not dogging you. All right. If you keep hybrids, that's fine. I'm not dogging you. I am dogging the fish though, so stay tuned. I'm straightening up the camera. Let me grab my notes here. All right, guys. I want to start off with where hybrids come from, okay? We all know the duh factor, if you will, that hybrids come from two separate species of fish, and those two species spawning together or breeding together creates a different looking fish with pretty colors and stuff like that. Now, I think that that's where the hype about hybrids come from, is the pretty colors you can produce with them. Now, I'm going to be up front with you and say that I don't agree with hybrids being inside the hobby. I don't think it's a true hobbyist fish. I'm not saying that you're not a true hobbyist if you keep hybrids. I'm just saying it's not a true hybrid. It's not a true hobbyist fish. Okay. Now, whenever you cross hybrids, guys, you got your female species, we'll say a Texas, and then you got your male species, we'll say convict. Okay. Now, the first generation called F1 hybrid, that's going to look like a mixture of both fish. It's going to look kind of like a convict, kind of like a Texas. Okay. Now, those are obviously hybrids. But say that you take two of those first generation hybrids and you breed them together. At that point, they're going to start looking like either one of the parents, okay? That's where the problem comes in with hybrids, because when you look at them, and unless you got a trained eye, you're going to think that it's either a convict or you're going to think it's a Texas, one or the other, okay? That's how they get these different color forms, guys. They isolate the they isolate the color they want, the gene, right? And they keep breeding into that fish to get that color, and then they keep breeding into that fish to get that color, and then they keep breeding both of those fish to get the fish that they want. So what you're left with is a bastardized fish that you have no idea what it is, except to call it, your flower horn or your blood red parrot. You have no idea what fish, you have no idea, okay? That's one problem with hybrids, okay? The second problem comes when, the argument arises, well, if someone's looking for a fish, they should do their research and look and see what that fish is supposed to look like, its colors and stuff like that. Now, guys, that is absolutely correct. Okay, you do need to do your research before you buy any fish, but you don't need to do research to make sure you're buying the correct fish. You need to do research to find out what they eat, what water parameters they like, how big of a tank you need. That's the kind of research you need to do, not whether or not you're buying the correct fish, alright? Now, I consider myself an advanced hobbyist. A lot of y'all consider me an advanced hobbyist too. And I'm not gloating on that, okay? You all know that I'm humble in that fact. I'll never call myself an expert, y'all know that. But I don't think that I should have to look around at a tank full of juveniles to make sure I'm buying the right fish, even as long as I've been in the hobby. I don't think I should have to do that. Okay? Now, you might say, oh, well, I'm a responsible fish keeper. I'll never sell my hybrids, you know, blah, 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 blah. Well, guys, what happens if you have to move and you can't take your fish tank with you? What are you going to do with those hybrids? I know for damn sure no one's going to take them out and just smash them on the concrete. That's inhumane. You know, I wouldn't even do that. And I don't like hybrids. Now, you'll probably take them to a pet store, pass them off to some of your friends, you know, saying, now, dude, these are hybrids, alright? Make sure you know, hybrid, hybrid, hybrid. Right? You can say it all day long, but as soon as that person or that pet shop sees the opportunity to make a bunch of money because someone thinks they're something that they're not, I promise you, what you said is going out the window. Straight out, and the window's getting slammed shut. That hobbyist then goes home and says, oh, I got this new convict, I'm going to liven up my convict line. Oh, this is awesome. Well, then all of a sudden, those fish aren't breeding, and you're starting to wonder why. You start, crazy ass fish, I tell you. And then you start, you know, doing things, you know, correcting water parameters, thinking that's the case. Guys, if you put convicts inside of a bowl of water, they will breed. Okay, they're easy to breed. If they're not breeding, there is something wrong. Okay. Now, more than likely, if it's a hybrid, it may be sterile. But if you do get them to breed, you'll notice that the fry don't look quite right. So then you have more hybrids. Then that unknowing hobbyist that bred a hybrid fish unknowingly takes him to the pet store because he decides he wants to try again, get a new batch of fry. Well, then you got a bunch of hybrids in a pet store being passed off as convicts. Then 20, 30, maybe even 40 or 50 people buy those convicts. Then guess how many hybrids are produced, guys? It's a chain reaction and it's crap. Alright? Hybrids are crap fish. Okay? Now, let me remind you, if you keep hybrids, that's fine. Just don't ever pass them off to anybody. Keep them in their own tank outside of your fish room, guys, because the fry, we all know it. If you keep, you know, a fish room with, you know, a few tanks, you know that fish can jump out into other tanks, and if you have 2 breeding fish, you're not going to notice, you know, a few fry swimming around, a few hybrid fry swimming around with purebred fry. Okay, you'll pass them off that way too. Now, another argument that a lot of hard-headed hybrid keepers come up with is, you know, the designer dogs like Labradoodles and stuff like that. Well, people keep those, they don't complain about those, blah, 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 blah. Well, guys, you know what? You can call those dogs hybrids all day if you want, but I hope this video changes your mind about saying it, because if you say it around somebody that's knowledgeable, they're going to call you stupid, because every single dog comes from the same species. Due diligence, do your research, okay? Every single dog comes from the same species. So if you wanna, you know, compare it to another life form breeding, it'd be like comparing it to a German Shepherd breeding with a cat. Okay, 2 separate species mating together to make offspring, which are hybrids. All right, simple as that. Alright? Now, we have 2,300 plus different cichlid species, guys. 2,300 plus, and a bunch of them haven't even been discovered yet. Why on earth would anybody think that we need to make different types of cichlids? You know, that's the arrogance of people thinking they can change something that doesn't need to be changed just because they can. Okay? That's the problem with hybrids right there as well. You know, I would much rather look at a purebred Trimac any day of the week than I would a flower horn. Any day of the week. I don't care how beautiful that flower horn is. I don't care how many ribbons that flower horn won. I would much rather look at a trimac, okay? Any day of the week. I would much rather look at a doveye than some bastardized fish that was created inside somebody's fish room. Any day of the week. I mean, why on earth would anybody think it's better to look at a hybridized fish than it is to look at the natural beauty of a fish that came from some body of water out there? I'll never get it because I don't get it. I don't get why people think that it's better to have a hybrid fish than to look at a real, you know, naturally occurring fish. I'll never get that. And then that brings up another argument that the hard-headed hybrid keepers say all the time. Well, you don't know what happens in nature. How do you know that you're not keeping a hybrid? Well, I'll tell you what. Again, due diligence and do your research. You can do a Google search and find all kinds of studies, all kinds of research where hybridizing in nature is extremely rare at best. Okay, there's only one fish I know of that comes from the wild that may be a hybrid, and that's coming from a person I don't really like in the hobby, and that's the Lasiba fredericksthali. Okay. It could be, it couldn't be. I'm not a collector. You know, I can't really do research on that. I've never been in the field, but I know how to read, and I know how to research, and I know how to do my due diligence. All right. So I know for a fact that you know, it's extremely rare for hybridization to occur inside the wild. I know for a fact, because people that actually do go out there and do research and stuff like that have written articles and published documents on, I mean, it's published, guys. You know, do a Google search, look it up, do your due diligence and do your research. And, you know, come to your own conclusion, guys. You know, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind, but I can tell you that I think hybrids are a bad addition to the hobby. They get a lot of people confused. Now, you know, they do get a lot of people to start in the hobby as well. But look where those hobbyists end up. They end up keeping purebred fish, either wild caught, first or second generation, because they enjoy watching fish in their natural state. They enjoy that, you know. Watching a man-created fish swim around your tank that, you know, really has, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm trying to get at? I can't even put it into words. It doesn't make any sense. And by no means am I the smartest person in the world, but guys, like I said, I can read and I can do my research and I can do my due diligence. And let's see, I wrote some notes here. Pardon me, I may have forgotten some of them here. Let's see. Oh, and here's something else I wrote, guys. The ability to create designer organisms has a way of cheapening the beauty and wonder of real organisms. Remember that. Remember that. And also, if you want to make sure that you're not getting a hybrid fish, guys, you know, look for a reputable dealer. That's all you have to do. Look for a reputable dealer, because I guarantee you none of them are selling hybrids. All right. You know, and by reputable, I mean Conkle, Skip, Gage. Well, he probably sells some flower horns. He has a pretty big business there. Wraps, Cichlid Man 09, guys. Forrest, he doesn't sell hybrids. Look for your reputable dealer, and if it's a reputable dealer and they sell hybrids, I can guarantee you it'll say it on your purchase invoice that it is a hybrid. It'll say it before you even buy it that it's a hybrid. If it's a wild caught, it'll say wild caught, and they will have a good reputation with good reviews and everything else, okay? So if you're unsure about buying a hybrid, you know, take a picture of the fish. Even send it to a knowledgeable hobbyist. Maybe they can help, or you can just pass on the fish and go to a more reputable dealer if you're not sure, and get your fish that way, guys. Because to be honest with you, if you buy a hybrid, there's no guarantee that it'll stay in your fish room, because anything could happen. And by anything happening, that also screws up other hobbyists, and so on and so on and so on. It's a vicious cycle, and in my opinion, it needs to stop. To the people that keep hybrids, keep them to yourself, and if you do pass them along, make sure that person understands the irresponsible. Make sure they understand that it's irresponsible to pass that fish along to another person that, you know, I mean, you can trust them fully, and they still might see an opportunity to make money, and you got another hybrid being passed on to something else, guys. So my best word of advice is just don't keep hybrids. Simple as that. Now, are they beautiful? Yes, they're beautiful, guys. They are. You know, but they're bastardized fish. They're man-created. There's nothing natural about them. And in my opinion, they don't belong in the hobby. So with that said, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking, good or bad. Like I said, keep it clean. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I've done. Stay true to the hobby. Peace.